Hey guys, welcome to episode 184 of 4PlayerAnimecast. It is the 28th of November, and some astute viewers might realize that this is a Sunday instead of a Saturday. Unfortunately, we had to delay it a little bit because of some internet issues, but we are back on track. We are going to cover so this podcast and then the next podcast will both be about the fall 2021 season. We're going to do a preview show just a little bit before Christmas and New Year hits and the month and the year rolls over. And then we're going to have our infamous end of the year awards show. So, you guys will probably look forward to that. But yeah, here are my compatriots, Dark,
Hi.
Toast,
It was the Omicron.
and Near.
Hi.
All right. So, what have you guys been up to these past 2 weeks? Again, starting with Dark.
Oh, fucking playing Jungle in League.
I
It's hell. I'm playing it right now, and it's fucking terrible.
mean, I don't know if you
Um,
expected anything else.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect it to get worse. Like, it's probably some of the most fun I've had in the game, but it's like even more amplified, like where the highs are high and the lows are real fucking low. No, my top lane's feeding right now. No big deal. But yeah, that's pretty much been my entire fucking week.
Tell us about your
Um,
$600 ship.
it's not in no, it's counting. I have a lot of ships in Star Citizen now. Yeah, I mean that's about it.
That's
The big
about it.
event,
Okay.
the big event came around. Oh, I picked up some. Play something called they call it the CCU game, where there's some really weird shit with like what is it? What would you call? It's like you can get ships for these things called like war bonds, where it's like you're not using store credit for them.
Mhm.
And then you get like even more. You get like more money off and shit. But so like let's say a ship costs normally like I don't even know. Maybe it costs like $100 or something. The war bond might be like, hey, it's like $60. And so if you go to upgrade that after you get the war bond version, that's that's still worth like 100. Like it's worth whatever the actual price of the ship is.
You know what else has war bond?
So anyway, basically I did that with some
I
things.
like I'm at a
And
slight
I put it
loss
in the
for words
chat. I
here, but
have for people who know and people who up. I'm not gonna list all of them, but the ones that I got were the Perseus and the um, Polaris. I upgraded to from like older ships that I had that I was like, fuck it, I'll just upgrade to them because I really wanted them.
oh my god. The thing is, it's like, how do I say this? Uh,
The
uh,
range.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's okay if you spend your own money. I just like I can't imagine my. Although I can, I guess, because I mean, it's not like I didn't spend a lot of money in gotchas as well. But it's also like at least buying a ship is like a sure thing in Star Citizen. You're not just like gambling for it. At least
Rolling the dice and praying that I get it.
praying you get a ship. Yeah, imagine if Star Citizen had the
A
gotcha
fucking
system.
gotcha. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like everyone would be like, why would I do this? Why wouldn't you just buy them in game?
Exactly.
anyway,
Oh
you know,
my
support developers. You know, my part.
Alright.
Game's fun though.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dark. And
Oh,
Toast,
also I
what
finished
about you?
Arcane. That series is
Okay.
fucking amazing.
Okay. Pretty good. What about you, Toast?
Hello. Huh?
Past
For
2
2
weeks?
weeks.
You mean last 2 days?
No.
No.
So HoloLive Gen 6 came out.
Okay.
Holux, like I call it, not Holo X, Holux. They're pretty cool, I guess. People seem to like Laplace Darkness. She's a lolly.
All right. Anything else?
Oh, you guys didn't talk about Thanksgiving. What's wrong with you all?
Well, I mean, I was going to talk about Thanksgiving,
Well,
but
now I'm not.
there's only one person that's been talking so far.
I'm
So,
Nia,
Canadian.
how's your
that
Thanksgiving?
is
It happened a while ago.
How far away?
It's in like October for us. It's like the first Monday of October or some shit.
Why is it called? Do you call it Thanksgiving?
Yes. Yeah, it's called Thanksgiving.
You have what? You have pilgrims and Indians up there? What's what do you call it
We,
that?
we do.
They do, as a matter of fact. It's part of
Are
North
they still
America.
there? Are they still there near? Did you steal their land too?
They are still there. Despite the
Much to the
government's
chagrin of
despite the government's
the
best efforts, they
Canadian
are still
government.
there.
So, how was your Thanksgiving then, Toast?
It was okay.
Yeah. You said something about like your potato hell ended after you finished Thanksgiving, right? What was that all about?
Don't worry about it.
he he ate more mashed potatoes than was comfortable for his belly. Toast is very cute. But anyways, if that was all, I guess thank you very much for your past 2 weeks. And Nier, what about you?
Oh, you know. I think my past 2
Whoa.
weeks have been pretty busy actually.
Okay, that's good.
I watched Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
That show is good. Think yeah. I think I
You're currently evaluating in your head is what
yeah.
you're saying.
I think I could say that show is pretty okay.
9.5 out of 10.
Yeah. I don't play League because I'm not mentally ill. But you know, I do have like some secondhand
One
exposure
day
to
you're gonna
like
develop a Tyler 1 gamer dent. You're gonna really get the
yeah, a
urge.
portion of
I'm
my
gonna tell
brain
ya.
is just fucking be like erased, and I'm going to devolve into a League player. But that is not today. Um, but yeah, I'm not really like into League lore. Although I do have like
Guy plays Runeterra, but he doesn't like the lore.
yeah, I mean I played Legends of Runeterra,
That's something
which
different for you.
yeah, which if you don't know is the League of Legends like Riot Games card game, um, which is fun, which I also got back into somewhat recently. Um, Other than that, I rewatched a bunch of old anime. I rewatched a bunch of Evangelion. I rewatched a bunch of old like OVAs. Um, I've been playing a lot of fucking Shadowverse for some reason. You know, games just got like a death grip on me right now, as it usually does, but recently a bit more than usual. Um, and there's one other thing, but I don't quite remember. Um, but yeah, I've been pretty busy past couple weeks. Just doing a bunch of shit. But
Again, that's better than, not doing stuff. So at
yeah,
least get to see that you're keeping up.
yeah.
Thinking year. I guess my past 2 weeks, I've also been pretty
How's the
busy, but
snow?
It's coming down pretty hard. There's
bro, I've had snow. I had snow
Yeah,
the
it
past
snowed
2 weeks.
for
It was
me like
ridiculous. I was
fucking
like, and then I went down to
this
Virginia. I
morning.
was like, it was like still like 55 degrees Fahrenheit or some shit like that, or even like up to 55, 58 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm like, what the fuck's happening? Like, can I
Why'd you
not
go to
have snow where I
Virginia?
live? That's where my family resides. So I went
Why
down
would you
to.
reveal such damning evidence, Spire?
Yeah, you gotta. It's gotta. You guys have narrowed where my family lives to one state, so you guys just have to search a little bit harder. But so hopefully you guys can find it
North or
within the
West
next millennium.
Virginia?
What?
North or West Virginia?
I don't think those are separate states. North Virginia is not a separate state like West Virginia does. It's
But
mainly
West
Virginia
Virginia's
and
like
West
in the
Virginia.
song.
there's no, dude. There's north, west, east, and south. Everybody knows that.
There's like Central Virginia. It's like the Dakotas, except you have like 5 more Virginias.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think well, again, in the past, it's mainly been in the past week or so. I've been pretty. I don't know if I'd say relaxed, but I've had a lot of project stuff, been running around, and then I had a week off for Thanksgiving. Went down to meet my family, but then that week was also very busy because I spent more than half that week literally having like every day I had an average of 2 or more medical examinations, totaling in over $1,000 in medical fees, and that's after insurance covered 90% of it. And then I bought some more stuff for Black Friday, and that was so at the end of that I was thinking like, why didn't I just get a new credit card for this so I could at least get bonus points for this shit? But yeah, it was very
Did you
important.
get the Rona?
I did not get the
Or no, I'm
coronavirus.
sorry. It's called the Omicron now.
The Omicron variant. But yeah, I did not get corona, but I had my regular examination. Pretty much went through the gamut, so on and so forth. But other than that, I was somewhat relaxed. I guess I was okay, and I managed to watch a decent number of anime. Most of the stuff that we already talked about before, as well as the that we're going to talk about in this episode. There's also been a lot of visual novels that are being pumped out,
But you want to talk
or
about
not
visual
pumped out, but
novels? Cool.
localizations that are being pumped out recently, and some of the names are okay. But there's also a lot of new ones in Japan, like not being localized, just like the raw ones coming out in Japan, like that are okay. Like a lot of the ones these days are not like they're very very light. It's very much fluff, just because they don't really want to spend a lot of money, as we've discussed on the podcast before. They don't want to spend a lot of money creating a longer, more developed, intricate plot visual novel, because that's a lot of money. They don't want to spend that when they're not going to make that much in sales. But I've been thinking about maybe creating
You're
a
gonna
little bit
get
more of research.
What about Venus Blood? You gonna get Venus Blood? Isn't that out?
That one looks a little bit suspect. I'm not gonna
Dude, what are you talking
lie.
about? What's
That
wrong with
one
Venus
looks.
Blood?
Isn't this a? This one looks like one of those. Is this like a mini RPG? Does it have like an RPG minigame portion of it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play it. Sorry,
Why not?
I
Just
can't.
50+ hours.
That's because most of the hours go
Yeah.
in the RPG. Yeah, that's not that's different from the visual novel. If
But
I
there's
wanted to play,
the genre tags. I count like at least 30.
I mean that's because he has like the MC's collecting like 50 different girls in the harem or whatever in the RPG, right? That's what I'm guessing. One decent one, or a couple of decent ones, or ones that have maybe come out that I might watch is like or read is Relore 2, and then Kimagure Temptation. This one has voice actors that is quite famous, so I might check it out. But other than that, I haven't been that
What about
interested.
have you checked out the new one from I can't read that title.
Which one? Which one?
Milk Tank Ladies Monthly. Is that the developer? No, it's
I don't believe I
wait, hold
have
on.
Toast. I do not believe I have.
Dude, how have you not heard about it yet?
Spire, what's Gekkan Toshue
Where
Milk
have you
Tank?
been?
Is that the same thing?
Wait, you copy paste the title? I don't
Gekkan
even know.
Toshue Milk Tank. Here.
I don't know
There you
Toast.
go.
I do not go and try to find
Is
these.
that really a Milk Tank Ladies Monthly?
Gekkan Toshio Milk. I don't read these sorts of series, Toast.
Well,
I don't.
they,
We're
I
missing
can
out, my
already
friend.
smell. I can already smell like the C tier level. Like you know how like cheaper VNs open up that like Windows 95 window and it's
Yeah.
like really cheap. It looks really ghetto. I'm not a big fan of those sorts of VNs because I
yeah,
can already smell the shit.
the one that
UTDAs.
appeared in my my searches is Kanojo no Okasan ga Kanojo yori ato teki ni onna de gaman dekinai. What does that mean?
I didn't catch the last,
go.
like second to last adjective, but it's like my
go.
mother is whatever, probably more or my girlfriend's mom is probably more voluptuous than my girlfriend, so I couldn't just.
Here,
Based.
이女で, okay, it's
Iona,
you know,
yeah.
my girlfriend's mother was so much more of a good, like sexy or like good transliterate good a woman, so I couldn't hold back or something.
Or in English, my girlfriend's mom is much finer than her, so I can't hold
Yeah,
back.
finer works. Yeah, finer works, I guess. So, anyways, I do not read series like that for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because I don't like
if-
trawling through ghetto Nukige.
If Venus blood shows up here, why don't you get this kind of stuff? What's wrong with you?
I didn't say I read Venus Blood either. Nowhere in this conversation did I say I would go through Venus Blood.
You know
This
of
guy
it.
hates visual novels.
But I do want to go through some stuff recently, and I again keep saying to myself that I'm going to read through more of Amakano because I do love winter themes so fucking much. But it's the strange thing is I still love winter and I love winter themes like and Christmas themes and everything just related to winter. But recently I've been feeling like the type of cardio I do, I really love running. I don't like biking and stuff as much. I really like just pure running, and I like running outside. Doing however many miles
You want to
per
race?
day. What?
You want to race?
I'm really bad. My speed is really bad right now. But I do like running outside. But obviously in the winter, it's much harder to run outside. So I've been disliking winter more and more throughout the years, which is kind of weird. But that's whatever. Anyways, other than that, not much has been going on. I've been running around a little bit during Thanksgiving as well, but did manage to watch most of the series that we covered previously and are going to cover this time around. So that'll be nice. I'll be able to act as more of a wingman. And that was my 2 weeks. So let's move on real quick to the reviews. Starting with Dark. You have quite a
boy.
series to share with us. Yep. Yeah, Dark, you have quite a series to share with us today.
Yeah, I have the greatest series share, actually.
That's a quote from Nier, by the way, I think, right?
That's not true at all,
Yeah,
actually.
Nier loves this series. Break is hard here. I have to say, Wild. I don't like the series very much.
You don't like Muv-Luv? What's wrong with you?
But the thing is, it's actually well.
First,
How do you
let me
feel
say what I
about?
have. I have
Okay,
Komi-san.
yeah.
Komi-san can't communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this series is about a guy in like a new school. His old school, he got like fucking, he was crazy. He was a fucking chuny. They wanted to leave that all behind. And so in his new school, it's a girl named Komi. everyone thinks is the greatest and the best, but winds up befriending her, and everyone kind of resents him for that, so he's kind of already off on the wrong foot type deal. And so we kind of go from there. He learns that she can't really speak to people, and no one else has seemed to notice this, so he tries to help her make like 100 friends is the basic premise.
Isn't that kind of like Butchie's theme, right?
Yeah. And
In the
so
fight.
the problem is
except Bochi actually like
good.
yeah. Well, there's that.
The numbers on Komi.
I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck what the numbers are. This series is
Yeah.
fucking boring. It's not even bad. It's just a fucking snooze after like 3 episodes.
So yeah, keep in mind that Komi-san is probably like one of like I'd say it's probably like the most popular 4-Koma right now, right? Like
It's extremely popular.
yeah, it's very popular. Both in Japan and in the West.
Yes. Yes.
And it's been going for what? 4 years, 5 years? It's been going for a while.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind.
So, like I said, that's the premise. But the problem is that episode 1 was really, really good, and it baits you into it until the last second. The audio visuals are great. This is I forget exactly what the studio's name is. Probably best known for Pokemon at this point, right? Like
They did I'm pretty sure they did Odd Taxi as well.
Oh,
Studio
okay.
OLM.
Yeah,
They
so
basically all they've done is children's shows and
Yeah.
Odd Taxi.
Yes.
yeah,
And
so
now this.
the audio visuals are definitely not the problem. Episodes 1s were fucking amazing. Obviously, like the subsequent episodes have not been as good, which is unfortunate.
What do you think about the? By the way, can you tell us a little bit about the audio visuals of the show?
Yeah. So again, they're good. It does bounce between a couple different like styles. It does some like sort of like meme styles at times. It does sort of like I don't even know exactly how to describe it, but it sort of bounces between that. In episode 1, it does have a very flashy like ending where they're writing to each other on the chalkboard back and forth, which was really cool. Overall, those standard audio visuals from episode to episode are pretty all right. Kind of tell it's OLM. Like, there's just something about the way they draw the characters. Even
Right.
so, they're Koma designs like is still kind of obvious like what studio's doing it.
Right.
But I would say the backgrounds and
also
stuff are
say-
a lot, and the shading is certainly a lot better than like what you
Yeah,
get from like Pokemon. So,
Oh yeah. I mean, Pokemon is
granted,
like
Pokemon
also,
has like 8 million episodes, so there's probably
al-
like
also
that
also
too.
oftentimes it's like with stuff like Pokemon or Bleach or One Piece or anything that's like sufficiently big enough. Those also have like a billion different people working at from like like a billion different studios, like all being contracted at the same time. So it's just like a mishmash of like talent, just like it's like trying to herd a pack of wildcats to draw Pokemon every week. That's sort of how that goes, I think, over there.
It's
So,
so it's interesting.
the thing is, like, honestly, like not to bash on Tacto Opus, but this looks like it has about as much money put into it as Tactopus. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the first episode probably looks better than most of what Tactopus has at this point, which is
I mean,
something,
for a series
I
like
guess.
Komi-san,
I mean, Tactopus
I would-
has action sequences like that, so that's part of like the
yeah.
sort of thing. But yeah, it still looks like it has a lot of like
I mean, if you're not pumping shitloads of money into fucking Komi-san, it's like What do you?
Which series? Yeah, which
Yeah,
series are you
what
gonna put
what are
money
you what are you
Yeah,
doing?
fucking mania.
So what? I mean, what do you think about the? Let's go back sort of to the original source because it's this is sort of what we're going to talk about, right? Like the Komi-san itself is mainly just like maybe like tiny truncations here and there, but it's mostly just like a slow, straight adaptation of the original source material, right? So in terms of the original source material, the initial question I was going to ask at the very beginning of this review before we went to the descriptions, right, was what exactly is your opinion on this sort of setup? And you know what I mean when I say this sort of setup, right? This sort of general setup in terms of the regular guy, the weird girl, or maybe there's a slight balance. Maybe the guy is weird and the girl is normal. Or there's some sort of linkage between the two, right? And it's like they go through the episodes and they kind of look at each other, or the guy is an observer of the girl doing weird things or gets dragged along or whatever it is, and they do these things.
Yeah,
I know there are
yeah,
series that
I
you
know what you
enjoy. I know
mean.
I know
It's
there are
just
series
like,
that you enjoy in this setup, but what is your general opinion? And given this general opinion, why do you think that Komi-san has fallen so far from the path?
well, I think the problem is this, is that it sets it up to where one, it's very obnoxious with a lot of the setup. Like, I think it's fine to have Komi-san be sort of like class, you know, favorite, like class favorite, essentially. The
Mhm.
problem arises when, I mean, it's Komi-san's biggest issue is that it just keeps doing the same fucking thing over and over again.
You
And
mean
it's
like,
like
oh, they ramp up
running
the
the same
silence and
thing.
listen.
Well,
I
because
can't
they
say
go, no,
anything.
not even the
Oh my
silence.
goodness.
It's that the problem is that they keep doing the shit of like, oh yeah, Komi-san's like amazing and everyone likes her even though she doesn't speak, but also everyone hates the MC. And everyone thinks he's a fucking idiot.
Oh, okay,
Even though
okay.
she likes him, but obviously she can't say anything. So you know, but like, so they run that like so much that it's just like, by episode 2, I was tired of it. I'm like, I'm
Right.
sick of this. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I get it. Like, how many times are we gonna have the bit where everyone is nice to his face, and then the moment like they're done saying something nice, they just start whispering like, "I hate you, I hate you, I hate you," like to his face, essentially. It's like,
Mhm.
Every week
yeah,
for 5
yeah,
years.
exactly. It's like I'm done, dude. Like I don't care anymore. Like I get it. You've told this joke. Like I'm okay. I understand where you're going with it. Frankly, there's probably nothing more you can do with it that will surprise me and that will like heighten my enjoyment of this.
Right.
So there's that. And then there's also like, I mean, the not speaking thing is fine. Like, there's a lot that they can do with that at least. But the other thing that I've gotten tired with already is that, like, every character that's been introduced is an extremely, like, tropey, just fucking honest to the point of it being kind of obnoxious and annoying, right? Like, the
Right.
yandere, I thought wasn't very fun. The, like, masochist is like, or the sadist rather, is like not. Is it masochist? Which is the one that likes being fucking beat on?
Masochist.
You smash it.
Okay, masochist then. Like, I don't know. Everything just kind of, it just starts getting annoying because they also do, again, they do the same jokes with those characters over and over again. It's just not. I just don't find it that
The
enjoyable
thing,
anymore.
well, the thing is, there are series that don't necessarily have a lot of growth, but then they still kind of, and the characters each have their own kind of shtick, and then they throw them in the same room, and then they kind of use the shticks repeatedly. Do you think the problem with Komi-san is a problem with frequency and kind of the surface level treatment of those shticks, where they're just like, oh yeah, episode 1 they're doing this shtick, and then episode 2 they're doing the same shtick. Episode 3 they just repeated that over. Do you think it's that sort of frequency and surface level treatment, or do you think it's something else? Like Yuri, for instance,
it
right?
is
There's not
kind.
that much development. Like there's not that much character development, and the character shticks are relatively similar, but we still enjoy that, right? And my thought while listening to you talk about this is the difference is that Yuri kind of has character rotation, the change perspectives as well, and it kind of mellows out the shtick, right? It's not like they're saying, it's
Well, I
not
mean, it's
like
not even just that. It's that Yuri very specifically has these characters and then throws them into scenarios. Whereas
right,
Komi-san really hasn't done anything out there so far, like from what I've watched.
right.
And I've
It's
watched up
just
to
butting
episode
heads.
6. It's just like,
Yeah.
here's these characters in a classroom. Like, what'll happen? Okay. Like, here's the yandere. She does a yandere thing. Like, the most yandere thing you could think of. Here's the
Murder.
masochist character. She does, yeah, I mean, pretty much attempted murder. So it just turns into like this thing where why, there's not going to be any growth with that.
Right. And again, the surface level of like, here's a chick, she's gonna do this over and over again until the series ends is kind of like, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
especially when it's not based, especially when the entire series isn't based on a tight cast of characters that just runs different scenarios that might be interesting between them. Right? Like,
right.
I mean, again, the biggest tell is at the end of episode 1 when after, they do their writing on the chalkboard shit, it turns into like, I want to make 100 friends. And then it's like, but what he didn't know is that this school is full of weirdos. And it fucking like flies through the hallway of a bunch of freaks. And it's like, okay, like, I guess this is what we're doing now. We're doing like a fucking tower battle. Like, it's like a fucking battle royale of like, goons, like trope goons. And it's just, it just hasn't been fun, like, in my opinion. Like, some of the Komi stuff has been fun, some of the misunderstandings have been fun, but I feel like there hasn't been enough, like, variety of scenarios to keep things fresh. And I just don't think a lot of the character personalities, like, the only character I think that has a personality worthwhile has been like the childhood friend who, I mean, really just has a lot of different things. It's like, you have like Genki stuff paired up with like like childhood friend stuff / like tomboy or tom girl. Like, no one knows what fucking gender they are, like that bit. So like they have a ton of different things that they can do with that character and different jokes and shit to play off of. But the rest of the characters have just been extremely... And it hasn't really been... Again, the problem is too is that it's split because it tries to, I guess, like split the difference between shit like, Komi trying to like accomplish something that would require her to talk on top of like trying to meet these different people and converse with them. So like that I feel like is probably, part of it. Like there hasn't been like enough of either, and there hasn't been... It's just too split focused, I think the only memorable scenario so far of her trying to like talk, not even to someone, just like accomplish something that would require talking, is ordering something from Starbucks. But it just, like, other than that, I can't really think of something that would have like forced her to talk and put her in a scenario like that. And like that's part of the bit. Other than that, and I don't know. It just hasn't been great, I think, on those fronts. And I don't know. Like as a 4 coma, it's probably fine, right? Like, not exactly a lengthy read, But when you're
In
fucking
a
going
sense,
through
in a
it
sense,
back to back in a 20-minute episode, it just becomes like fucking draining.
in a sense, Komi-san's popularity is sort of. I wouldn't say Komi-san is the culmination necessarily because I mean it also started out 5 years ago, but I think Komi-san shows that this formula really kind of how do I say it, tickles this like mainstream urge in the Yonkoma sense, right? In the episodic Yonkoma sense, where we've seen this in so many different series, especially in Yonkoma stuff, right? Where it's just again, as you mentioned, it's just the various characters just rubbing their sticks against each other um over and over again, right? So I don't know. It's I do agree with you that it's really boring, but I'm just curious as to well, let me ask you this. Why do you think that this sort of format is popular? I mean, obviously, I'm not asking you to be like suddenly like no, like
I think
all
like
knowing or anything. But if you had to spitball as to why do you think this? Because this format is just like everybody's kind of doing it, and yet it's just working out, right? For some reason or another, right? Why do you think this format is really popular?
Well,
it.
why do you think Garfield comics are popular?
Yeah, I think it should. Well, I think
People
as
just
far as the
want to
4
press
is, it's
the
just like a
endorphin
very.
button.
It's just probably a very easy read that you could just get through. You understand the premise. You can fucking like blast through it. I genuinely don't know why this show and specifically would be popular. I think I know why something like Hattori Bochi would be popular.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that right?
Hitoribochi.
Yeah. So I think like that stuff, it's more of like, the different, like these different characters, like archetypes, like, getting into different scenarios. But I feel like Hattori Bochi had done the scenarios far more prevalently. Like
And there's
there
more
were,
expansion to the developments, I
yeah,
think,
and
in
it's
my opinion,
focused
at a
on
faster pace.
actual
At
like
a faster,
steps. Yeah, like
yeah.
steps these characters are taking and how they're changing. Like,
Komi-san is like how do I say this? The length of its episodic cycle is like shorter than Hitoribochi, in my opinion. The pacing is a little bit faster actually than Hitoribochi, episodic, like within the episode. But in terms of like the overall development, right? Or the overall development of the characters, where the characters are going, if the characters are doing anything different from episode to episode, I think Hitoribochi definitely does a bit more to expand upon it each time. Whereas Komi-san is definitely more focused on kind of wring the every last bit of humor, quote unquote, from the various characters. Again, shticks, right?
yeah, it's
So
it's very it does feel like they're wringing it. Like they are fucking they juiced it, they ground it up. There's only pulp left and they're fucking running the pulp back through the juicer to just try and squeeze out whatever they
regret
can.
time.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we need to get whatever we can out of this. And
Yeah.
it just rubs me the wrong way. Like I don't know, I don't like
Mhm.
I don't like it. It's a shame.
Right.
Like I liked the first episode a lot before when they just introduced the childhood friend as like the wacky character.
Yeah.
Before they did all the fucking like here's basically our tower battle of like nutcases. I thought that was way better. I started getting really tired with the like fucking everyone hates the MC bit. Like, okay, that's very cool. I got really old really fucking fast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I don't really jive with that very much.
Yeah, I mean, I can get behind that. I kind of well, I'm a little bit more of a sucker for the repetitive. I don't know if I've. It really depends on the nature of it because it's the issue is again with the. uh, I mean, even the only times where like I'm a little bit more of a sucker for the repetitive stuff, but even with like the repetitive stuff, it needs to be funny enough, right? It needs to clear a certain sort of comedic hurdle for me, at least like be funny. The shtick needs to be funny enough for it to be used over and over again. But sometimes, like Komi-san herself, almost goes over the hurdle, like almost meets the bar, somewhat ish.
Are you
But
saying
then, like,
Komi's heckin' wholesome cat ears aren't value enough for you?
unfortunately,
Yeah, call me
I,
insane. No.
yeah.
Oh
But
my
I
god.
think the kicker, I think the kicker for me also is again going along with what Dark succinctly pointed out at the beginning of this review is the fact that Tadano, right, Hitoito, Tadano Hitoito, as well as the other members in the cast, their sort of shticks fall by the wayside is not nearly enough to clear that hurdle. Again, just like Tadano getting, you know, kicked around, or the other girls having their own shticks like the Garu or the Yandere or the Chinibo, they're not really that funny. It's like very, at best, it's a very like 2012, not even 2012. Things are definitely funnier in 2012.
Yeah, I mean
I
it's
would
like
say like a
2000, like early
2008,
2000s.
2007. Like, yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
It's
Like,
very, it's not very good, and that's the problem. Where if you had a bunch of characters that were sort of on the level of what Komi-san with the main character development had as her shtick, right? That would be one thing. But all the other casts and even the MC doesn't really the male lead doesn't really add much to the series, and that just makes it, you know, they can't clear the bar. They can't clear the bar, so what are you gonna do? It's just not funny enough to be made repetitive. So it's pretty unfortunate.
So
But
who would win in a fight?
who are the two
True.
Bochi,
parties?
Tomoko, or Komi-san?
I mean,
Probably
probably
Tomoko.
fucking.
I think Tomoko would win because the other two would fucking cringe to death and die.
My favorite,
God.
my favorite was still how she didn't wash herself to get that oily sheen on her in her hair. That was a good arc.
Yeah.
Anyways, any last words?
No,
Dark. Any
I
last
just
words?
don't. I just don't think it's. I don't know. I don't think it's very good. I think it's pretty boring.
Yeah,
I
it's
have last
not.
words.
No.
Komi's
Near.
mom is fucking hot.
Uh, I saw her. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Is,
That's all I have to say.
Komi's mom remind me sometimes of like. Have you ever played visual novels where sometimes you wish that the mom was Route
Yeah.
in the visual novel?
Yes.
That
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what came to
Yes.
mind.
Yes.
You know what I mean, right? That it literally came to mind when I saw Kobe's mom. I'm like, dang, like this makes me feel like I'm in like a visual novel where the mom isn't like an actual route, and I'm very uncomfortable. I'm made very uncomfortable and
Yeah.
displeased by that.
Yeah. The series should have been about Komi's mom. TBH.
TBH.
Again, the series should have been about Comey. Like, how about we could start there? We could start with the series being about Comey and not about a bunch of fucking assholes we don't care about. That would have been
Yes.
cool.
Anyways, thank you very much, Dark, for covering again one of the most popular series of the season, and I can't believe that you had the nerve to give it a negative review. But moving on, we are going to go with Near. Near, what do you have for us today?
So I watched Heike Monogatari. also known as the Heike Story, which is a Science Saru production. It is a anime adaptation, sort of Heike Monogatari, also known as the
it
Heike
is. You
Story.
say it's an adaptation. Like
Yeah,
they
I
add
mean,
obviously like extra bits,
there's a
but
bit of
it's
extra
more or
bits
less.
there, but it's an adaptation. And for those who don't know, the Heike Story is a very old Japanese epic that is essentially, it is a big like compilation of stories told by wandering like biwa players.
Yeah.
And the compilation essentially,
Loot players. Yeah.
yeah, it essentially um forms a cohesive story of the fall of the Heike clan, which is also known as the Taira clan, in the Genpei War. And
So essentially, sorry, just a very brief kind of thing is just for people that obviously are not necessarily super in tune with Japanese history or how or early Japanese feudal systems might have formed. The way that you can think about the Heike Monogatari is that it's akin to the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, where a lot of its focus is around you know unif- the clash of different warring factions and sort of the rise and demise of various personages, various characters in the story due to their bid for power or their ineptitude or whatever it is. Again, very much like sort of the Three Kingdoms itself. But in this case, instead of Wushue, the Three Kingdoms, you have obviously the Taira clan, as Nier mentioned, as well as the
Genji.
Minamoto, yes, the Genji or the Minamoto clan, who were two of the most powerful clans under the influence of the Emperor of Japan, obviously. So that's sort of the statecraft that's going on. And again, Heike Monogatari is the tale of the Taira clan, mainly the Taira clan, but obviously Taira clan against the Minamoto clan, spanning sort of that period of time, their struggle, their power struggles. So that's sort of
Yeah.
how it is.
And it's a very long story.
Yeah.
A very, very long story. There's like I think it's like multiple books basically. The original
Yeah.
story.
You guys,
Obviously,
yeah, you guys, honestly, you guys can obviously, if you guys want to know more about the story in general, you guys can obviously check out, Wikipedia articles or whatever. But I also advise there's actually in my opinion, another good way of understanding it, like as a very sort of more brief skim, is to actually check the articles or like any biographies about the emperor of Japan at that time, like Go Shirataka, right? Shirakawa, right? Go
But is
oh
it
yeah,
Shirataka.
translated in English?
the Heike
Uh,
story. It's been translated multiple times. Yeah.
Is it
yeah,
is this like Mein Kampf where it's supposed to be required reading, but no one wants to read it because it's written badly?
No,
no, no, that's not how that
no.
works.
It
But it
is
is
definitely
so.
a good story.
Yeah, but if you for those of you who want a sort of like brief summary of sort of general flow of what happens, if you go to sort of for instance like a Wikipedia article for Emperor Go Shirakawa, who was the emperor at that time, and you kind of go through his like life and death and like how he was involved, it kind of tells you generally on the surface of what was going on. So that's another good way to go through.
What era is this?
But
Is this the Heike era?
I
Heiwa.
yeah, haywire. But it is yeah. So it's going through the general again struggles, and there's uh like 12 chapters or something like that. 12 chapters. Yeah, there's 12 chapters,
I believe so. Yeah.
and it's just statecraft, suspense. Everybody and their mothers getting married. It's essentially. I don't want to put it like this, but I do want to say it because of the viewers. It's Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones. Okay, I know Nier was.
I
I
mean,
was.
Season. What
it's
season?
it's it's basically just it's all politics, right? Like
Yeah, it's
it's
statecraft.
politics,
Statecraft.
politics until eventually the Tyra clan gets all their heads chopped off, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
the anime, right?
yeah, the
What's
anime.
different in the anime?
So again, the anime is it's a and pretty it's a relatively straight adaptation.
Uh-huh.
Obviously there are some anime original editions. Most notably is the main character, whose name is Biwa. She is a young girl, who plays the Biwa, and she is essentially used as a stand-in, for the general uh, the general method of the Hake story is that it's told by many, many, many traveling Biwa players, right? Um,
Hmm.
and so I guess the way that they decided to incorporate that into the anime is to essentially create a main character who is a Biwa player, and she is, in the thick of it, basically. She's a young girl who gets orphaned very early on. Her father gets killed by uh, guards of the Tyra clan, and then she shows up. uh I don't really know how she gets into uh the palace or whatever, but she shows up and she tells uh Shigemori of the Taira clan that basically she sees the downfall of the clan. Like the clan is doomed, because she's got a special eyeball that sees the
Hmm.
future, and it just so happens that Shigemori also has a special eyeball, but his sees past spirits of the dead. Um, and so very early on, they introduce this supernatural element to the story, which isn't really in the original. Um,
The interesting
and
thing is, I think it has. It, well, I'll kind of. Sorry for interrupting you, but I think I'll explain sort of what I think is the purpose of that, and then you can tell me if you agree. Where it's like, because if they add Beeline to the story, but they can't trying to do an anime adaptation of the Heike Monogatari, right? It's like trying to drive a very heavy car, right? It's like it'll be stable as long as you don't fuck with it too much,
yeah,
right?
as long as you don't randomly turn the
Yeah,
wheel.
you just yeah, exactly. So the idea is they want to add this girl both as the observer and to kind of maybe add some sort of some spicy conversations into the story, right?
Yeah,
But mainly have her as the observer. But the thing is, because she's one person, right, and she's like a little girl, it's not like she can run around and do everything and be everywhere, watch everything at the same time. Even if the um, what is it? The different perspectives happen, even if they cut to a different scene where the girl isn't at and show what's happening, the intrigue and stuff like that. It's not going to be as necessarily exciting if they just do that all the time, right? So they kind of added this psychic element as a sort of way to show the audience what's going on the story, what's going to go on in the story, without making it super boring. Is sort of what I think was the purpose of this thing. But other than that, but the psychic nature of it has very very minimal impact upon the actual story
it's
because that of course it doesn't because it's not
yeah,
supposed to. Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, they're not trying to fuck with the,
Yeah.
like there's no twist at the end where she fucking opens up her Sharingan and she saves the Tyra clan. It is very much a straight
There should be.
adaptation. And the supernatural elements that are introduced in this series, in my opinion, are painfully, uh, just completely underutilized.
Right.
To the point where I'm not really sure why they introduced them to begin with, outside of the eye. Because I get the eye, right? Like the main character is she is the observer, right? She is supposed to see the course of the events,
Right.
and that's her purpose, right?
Right.
Um, but I don't really get what the other eye that Shigemori has is really for, right?
I think
because
at best, the best value that got was just him being able to pull Biwa in. Like it acts as the plot starter, the hook for the plot starter. But
yeah,
beyond that, it didn't get as
and
much
they
value.
they
Yeah.
use it a little bit to sort of give Shigemori a bit more characterization, to
Mhm.
explain like why he's scared of the dark, because he sees like fucking spirits of dead literally all around him whenever it's nighttime. And so like his palace is like filled with lanterns or whatever. And it gives him a bit more characterization. But beyond that, like they don't really do anything with it. And spoilers, eventually, Shigemori dies, right? And um, after he dies, Biwa inherits his eye, his other eye, and so she now has two special eyes. One that can see the
Fucking
future.
Sharingan.
Yeah, one that
Sharingan,
can see the
man.
future, and then one that can see the dead.
Yeah.
And I really thought they were going to do something with that, but the problem is, again, they don't like I don't they don't really use the other eye. Like she only like the only eye that really has use in a storytelling um purpose is the eye that sees the future, like observes, you know what I mean? Um and the one that like sees the dead isn't really like it's not really useful for her observing, because if she sees somebody dying in the future, she's not going to need to see their spirit. You know what I mean?
Right,
Um,
exactly.
there are some minor moments where like a character dies and she sees like their spirit like watching over their loved ones and stuff like that. Some nice moments here and there, but it's not really influencing really anything. And
Yeah, they I don't they did yeah, it's they were kind of I wouldn't say they were caught between a rock and a hard place, but they took it on the chin. They knew this was coming, they just took it on the chin. They were like, fuck it.
yeah, um, and they also do some stuff where uh they don't really like they don't really go hard in it. They kind of just like skim like the surface of it. But there's a bit of stuff where certain characters see spirits like in their dreams and stuff, and they get premonitions of like the fall of the clan, and possibly that being like divine retribution for their hubris or their actions and stuff like that. And they don't really go very hard into it. It's just sort of like uh, superstition, basically, which I think is a smart decision, because like I feel like if they introduced many supernatural elements beyond like the eyes and some minor like divine retribution stuff, uh, it would have gotten very silly very quickly.
Mhm.
So it's good that they avoided really like going too hard in that. But I do think in regards to the eyes, it's very underutilized. Um, Another one of my big complaints is Biwa herself, right? Because again, as this is a very straight adaptation of the Hague story, you
Mhm.
can't really introduce a character into the story that can really influence anything, right? She can't really
Yes.
change events, um, and so like she is for the pretty much the entire series, like she's on the sidelines, right?
Mhm.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's fine to have a main character that's like, you know, made to just witness what's happening, right? But the problem is Biwa doesn't really have any motivation or purpose to her actions until episode 8, where like in episode 8 she leaves the Tyra clan, right?
Mhm.
She leaves, things are going south. People are starting to get upset, drama's happening. A character says like, we don't need you here anymore, right? And so she leaves. She's like, okay, I'm going to go wander the land, and I'm going to look for my mother, which is a minor plot line that goes throughout the entire series.
Yes.
And as she does this, in episode 8, she finds her mother, and she resolves herself and she gives herself basically the purpose of witnessing the fate of the Taira clan and telling that story, and spreading that story throughout Japan.
Mhm.
And as soon as that happens, like Biwa becomes a very, very good character, in my opinion. I think she does a
Mhm.
lot for the series. But before that, which keep in mind is 8 entire episodes of the series, she is useless. She doesn't do anything. She
Yes.
doesn't like because the entire purpose of bringing like the reason that Shigemori brings Biwa into the family, like he basically adopts her, um, is that he wants to obviously prevent the fall of the Taira clan, which
Yes.
Biwa claims to see.
Mhm.
And he prods her fairly often as to like, what do you see? Like, can you tell me what you see? And she goes, oh no, I'm not gonna tell you. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, why are you here? You know what I mean? Like, what are you here for? If you're
She's
not
just a,
going to,
she's an extra eye that it's like it. Well, the thing is, it's like at the end of the day, the anime adaptation could just have done a scene by scene, like cut to cut, right, and just shown the people interacting regularly, like in standard fashion, just acting out the regular events of Heike Monogatari, right?
yeah,
Without the girl in it, right? But then they sort of want to add this a specific observer, right? They didn't want to make it third person. They want to specifically make it second person. Do
hmm,
you understand what I'm saying, right? So they
yeah,
want to make it specifically a second person to add, like, at least in my opinion, a specifically maybe tragic tone to it. Because again, you know how in the opening lines of at least the revised version of going back to the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, what is it? It was something like empire, or yeah, an empire long divided must unite, and empire long united must divide, or something like that. And that's always how it's been. That cycle of unification and division, and then how people rise in power and fall to their demise, and this sort of power and corruption and all of that stuff, right?
hmm,
um, they want to specifically add a human observer eye to emphasize that, like, tragic tone, because they're like interacting with her as they're going through, right? Like they're first being like, oh, everything's happy, and then everything's going to shit, and she has to leave, and blah blah blah, right? Do you
yeah.
think that's sort of the point?
I mean,
Or I mean, they could that could also be sort of told through third person, but do you think telling it in second person adds the value?
well, I think it does. It's just that the issue is that like Biwa, she's she's fine as a sort of pillar, right? For the viewer to kind of like connect to and sort of because in the Hake story, there's a lot of fucking characters, right? There's a
Right.
shitload of characters,
Yeah.
and this is a story that takes place over like 20 years, like 20,
Hmm.
25 years, something like that. And um, a lot of the times characters age, they grow older, they look different. Some characters die early, some characters die way later. And
Hmm.
so it's good to have this like central like constant character. You know what I mean?
Right.
That the
Right.
audience can kind of attach themselves to and say, like, you know, this character is aligned with these characters, and because this character is a constant, I can, you know, it's easier to keep track of who is in contact with Biwa as opposed to this big like net of politics. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, and I think she does that fine. But the problem is she's initially set up as this character that's like, I have this power to see the future, and she laments that she can't change anything, right? And it harps on that pretty often, right? That she can see the future, and she's scared to see the future, and because the reason she's scared to see the future is because she knows she can't do anything to change it. right?
Again, this emphasizes. I mean, the observer side. This can also be implied to emphasize the tragic cycle of dynasties, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the issue I have with that is Biwa never does. She never makes any attempt to change it, anything, right? She never
Oh, she doesn't
says
tries to fight it.
she never says to Shigemori something bad is going to happen. She never says to any other characters that, you know, like, oh, you shouldn't go out this day, or stuff like that. Like,
So
she
you want her to be sort of like how they made Neo out to be in the Matrix, right? Where it's like it's inevitable, but why do you fight against it? And it's like because I can't, because I'm human, kind of, right? Is that sort of
well,
what you
I
wanted?
want there to be, like, she has this issue of, like, this complex of, like, I'm weak, I can't change anything, like, I can
Okay.
see what's happening but I can't change anything. And it's like, well, if you're going to give a character that uh sort of, like, issue, this introspective issue of, like, oh, like, I'm weak, I can't change anything, you have to show the character trying to at least change something and fail at it, to at least give them that, you know uh,
The
like,
sense of
preconception,
limitations.
like,
All right.
you need to set something up in order for it to be dashed down, right?
Okay.
Because it's
Yeah,
never
I get.
shown that, like, it's never shown why she thinks she can't change anything, because she
Right,
never tries.
because to you, I mean, not just to you, but like to a standard person, it looks like she does have quite a good power, right? Because she can fucking see the future,
Yeah,
right?
she can
But
literally see
then,
the future.
yeah, she can literally see the future. But then she just abruptly says, "Oh, I can't do anything though," and that makes you kind of disappointed because you're like, "What do you mean? You can tell the future, right?" So,
Yeah,
so,
like,
so that's sort of
there's
what
a
you're. Yeah.
scene
Okay.
there's a scene
Yeah.
where she's with Tokuko, right?
Yes.
And she's just had her baby, who eventually later on becomes, like, the youngest emperor of Japan, right?
Hmm.
And she looks at the child with her eye, and she sees him drowning, right? And Tokuko asks Biwa, like, what do you see of his can you see his future? I want to make sure he's safe. Like, I don't care about what happens to me. I just want to make sure my child is safe.
Hmm.
And she sees him drowning, and Biwa just says, "No, I can't see his future." It's I don't know, say something. Like, at least
Right.
have, like, a character moment there. Like, they
It's
don't.
very unfortunate because because by doing this little thing that sort of helps that sort of helps the author, the writer, set a tone for this anime adaptation as opposed to just doing a very bland retelling of the story, right? And in exchange for setting a more sort of dramatic and tragic tone, they completely opened the Pandora's box in terms of time travel and telling the future and everything. Sort of, right? Is what happened.
Yeah, I just like, if you're going to do something where a character can see the future, right?
Right.
And you're dealing with a story as big as the Hake story, right?
Hmm.
And you obviously don't want to, like, you don't really want to fuck shit up, right? You're not trying to plot twist this shit, right?
Hmm.
If you're going to give a character the ability to see into the future, right? Because, like, the idea is, a lot of people watching, especially those in Japan, a lot of people watching this show, they know what happens, right? They know the end of the story. Um, and to introduce a character that could see the future and attempt to change something could be like this glimmer of hope, right? Where maybe things don't turn out so bad, right? Because this character can see what's happening, and maybe they can try to help. Um, like, if you're gonna do that, I kind of want to see the character try to change something, like, try to fix something. And
Right.
then, if you're going to set the tone of, like, a true tragedy, then you have to have the character realize that they can't change anything. Like, this
Right.
is set in stone. No matter what you see, and no matter what actions you take, it is always going to happen. Like
The
the
time travel
fall,
tragedy actually needs to be properly set up.
yeah, the fall of the clan is destined. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
And they never do that.
Yes.
There's never really any effort shown, at least. I don't know, maybe Biwa did try to change something. It was just off screen. I don't fucking
Right.
know, right? But like I want to see it,
Mm.
because again, when Biwa, like in episode 8, when she resolves herself to be an observer, like she says, I can't change anything, but I'm going to watch. I'm going to see what happens, and I'm going to tell the story of the Heike clan, and I'm going to
Mhm.
spread it through Japan. And that's my lot in life, basically.
Right.
When she does that, like she becomes a character. You know what I mean? And
Right. Because
it's
she definitely
good.
has like a purpose. Right.
Yeah, and it's good. It elevates the series like so much farther.
Mm.
But like until then, she's kind of just
Suddenly
a
there.
little girl who's
Yeah.
just there. You know what I mean?
No, I get you. I understand. Yeah.
Which is very unfortunate. Um, uh, and another issue I have with this series is the way it sort of uh paces the time the time frame of this.
Yes.
I don't know how many episodes you watched. But like
I watched up
again,
to 5. I
yeah, again, the Hake story is very long, right? It
Yes.
spans decades. And obviously you can't really have a series, an anime series that spans decades, that's 11 episodes long, and not do huge fucking time skips, right? So that was expected. The issue I have is this series literally never tells you when time has skipped or like large amounts of time have passed. It kind of just is like there are moments where, you know, in one episode a character will be like a teenager or a young adult or whatever, and he's fairly, relatively short in stature, and whatever. And then the next episode, that character will be a grown ass adult and he's got fucking facial hair on. And it's like, how much time has passed? I don't know. The series never tells you. And it literally just name drops these characters that look completely different, except they have like the same hat on or something. And it's like you're kind of just expected to know, like, that like X amount of time has passed. It never really tells you.
Right.
Which is, in my opinion, is a really big like gaffe when you're dealing with a story like this that
Yeah. That is
spans.
complex. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very complex story. There's shitloads of characters. They all have like intertwining interactions with each other and motives,
Yeah.
and like,
Like half the time they're marrying each other, and you're like, God
yeah,
damn.
like a lot of times this show will literally essentially have like plot dumps where it's like, oh yeah, this character's brother, who and their brother is married to this character, and this character's is like related, like, it's like you could just show this, like
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
you have time to just show these characters, but instead it's just like it jumps all over the place, and it's very hard to follow. Especially like I can't really imagine trying to follow this series if you don't already like know like the general, like, can you imagine trying to follow this series if you don't know like the general like politics
Well,
of
yeah. Yeah.
like ancient
Exactly.
Japan? Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
You're
Um
you're just gonna skip like all the episodes, and just skip all the way to the end until like Tanura,
yeah.
and then you're just like, oh, I guess Tyra people just died. I guess like
Yeah.
that's,
It's like I don't know who anybody was, but okay. Um
I guess
but
they
yeah,
sucked. Yeah, but yeah.
that's another big gripe I have.
Other than the way that, and I don't want to fall too much. The skips and the character, the sort of character impermanence, not impermanence, but the lack of actual very much impact of Biwa is very well understood. Again, I think you did a very good job pointing those out. But and I don't want to be sort of this like weird like Sakuga freak, one of those people that pop up on Twitter. But I really like the way that like in the Heike Monogatari, it's the way that, for instance, the way they sometimes overlay Biwa's telling of the story, the singing, right, and
Yeah,
then
the narration.
narration onto what's happening on the screen.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that. Fuck.
it's really good,
It's
and
it's
it's
like one of those things where you know how sometimes in anime and like for stuff like Shinkai Makoto or like big like anime movies, they have this part where it's like the main character like climbs up to the top of the mountain and then you see like the pan out into the background. It feels like that. Like it's like
yeah,
cathartic when Biwa does that shit.
yeah. So in this series, there are moments where um essentially basically very important moments and sometimes when there's uh like events happening that are sort of happening fairly quickly or there's a battle or something, there will be a narration which is sort of delivered in um not necessarily song, but what's the term, prose, uh but
Yeah, I'm bad at words.
Biwa is playing her Biwa, right?
Yes.
And she's essentially narrating the events that are happening in the story. And there's this. I'm not really sure. The series never really explains why she looks the way she does when this is happening, but um, when it's showing this, there's cuts to her actually playing and singing, and she's got very long hair. She's almost glowing, um, and they're very good scenes. Essentially, they're just gorgeous. And it's some of the best moments in the series, in my opinion. And it really captures like just like that feel. Of like you know ancient Japan and samurais and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
the storytelling.
Uh,
Yeah,
like because in the later episodes they go really hard in that. Because there's like obviously near the end there's a lot of battles happening. And so there's like they narrate that quite a bit. Um, but yeah, definitely some of my favorite bits. But yeah, the audiovisuals in this show are fucking gorgeous. Um,
and I just
and
want to say again, also as a voice actor freak, Seiyu Otaku, the casting for this was quite good. Like
yeah, the
Yuki doing
casting
the
is
full voice girl, and also Sakurai Takahiro, right, doing Shigemori, Taira no
yeah.
Shigemori. Like if I had a top five for who would voice people in like a feudal Japanese like or Asian
Yeah,
feudal like drama, probably number one would be Sakurai Takahiro. He did
yeah.
that really well.
He's phenomenal. But yeah, again, this is a um
Sorry.
Science Saru production,
Also, they
and
recently did again Star Wars Visions, which we covered.
yeah, and of course, Your Hands Off Azuken, stuff like that.
Yes,
And it's just I like. There's really never there's really never a moment in the series that looks bad. Like even like I expected later on, like when they were doing like a lot of the big battles and stuff, for them to go pretty hard in like CG and stuff. But they don't. Which is really impressive.
mhm.
And like a lot of scenes, I'm not sure if it's a constant, but it's pretty common. But a lot of the backdrops and stuff have this sort of like canvas filter on them, which is pretty subtle, but it's a really nice touch.
It kind of gives more of that like what is it, ukiyo-e, right?
Yeah,
The Japanese sort of the drawing, right?
yeah,
Uh, the wood block prints and like stuff like the
yeah,
paintings kind of
and
give that feeling. Yeah.
the colors give it that feeling too a lot of times as well, especially
Mhm.
when the scenes where they're inside at night and they're talking, and there's the only thing that's really lighting the characters up is the flame of a lantern. It gives this very warm feeling, which kind of emulates the sort of the way when you have these old paintings and the paper on them starts to age and yellow. It sort of
Right.
gives that
Right.
feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just really really well done.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, the music I thought was pretty good. There's some weird moments where uh characters will be talking and guitar riffs will slowly start to creep in, and it's like I don't really know why this music is playing right now. Um, but other than that, it's all quite good. Um, I should mention the series is directed by Naoko Yamada, who is famously the director for K-On! Um,
hmm
and also was it Liz and the Bluebird? You know,
Yeah.
it's
Most of that sort of
a lot
line.
of
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of Kiwani stuff, basically. And the script is also done by Reiko Yoshida, who also worked on a lot of Kiwani stuff.
This is
Um,
original, by the way. This isn't an adaptation. This is original. I mean, it's an adaptation of the story, obviously,
yeah, I
but
mean,
this
yeah,
is not like this isn't from like a light novel or something. It's like a whole
yeah.
project.
And you know, as much uh, as much as I've criticized this series, um, and I am a bit conflicted on it, I do think it's very good. Um,
Yes.
I think obviously the Hake story is you know, it's good. I think
Again, like as long as you don't drive it off the hill,
yeah.
it's gonna be stable. Yeah.
I think if anybody out there hasn't read the Hake story, again, there's many versions that have been translated. You can buy a copy yourself. You can read it. It's a very good story. It's very compelling. The way that there's just so many characters that uh, it's just really good. And obviously adapting a series or a story like that is very hard, I think. And as much as they, I think, plundered a bit here and there, I think the last four episodes of this series are fucking amazing. Like they were just fucking phenomenal, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um, and I think maybe if you don't have the I don't want to say attention span, but sort of the proclivity to watching a lot of talking and politics and you know this character is getting married off to this character and oh this guy's having an affair with this other character and stuff like that. You might not like it as much,
Mhm.
but it's one of those stories, right? It's ancient Japan, the fall of a very, very, very powerful clan. Um, there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of talking. There's obviously um, it is a story about uh, that accumulates into the Genpei War, but there's not a lot of action scenes or anything like that.
Mhm.
But if you do like the idea of a series, a lot of politics and stuff, I think people will like this a lot.
Yeah.
It's fucking gorgeous. It's got the voice talent to like elevate it, above and beyond. Um, it's it's good. Again, I think there are definitely issues with the main character and how she fits into it all. But again, the core story is just it's good. So
Yeah.
um, they didn't fuck it up. So
If they fucked it up, we'd be probably be there'd
yeah.
be some sort of reaction in Japan. I think.
Um, but yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, again, thank you. I know this is like honestly, I think this is as a series is quite hard to review for obvious reasons not noted, and I would say most people, especially the types of people that would, maybe enjoy watching Hitalia in anime clubs and so on, right, would not have had the sufficient, how do I say, amount of experience to cover this properly. But I'm glad that you took it on. Obviously, it's good that you liked it and was able to review it as thoroughly as you did, exhaustively as you did. So thank you very much for helping to cover Heike Monogatari here. And again, if you guys do like more sort of like feudal Japan stuff, maybe you are a Romance of Three Kingdoms fan and you like sort of statecraft, the rise and fall of clans, nations, stuff like that, and you want to check it out in a more maybe interesting, engaging anime format, please do check this out. And now we move on to Toast. Toast, what do you have for us today?
I watched Idly Pride.
Yeah.
So let me tell you. So let me tell you about Idly Pride.
God damn it!
What? Oh, selection project. Whoops.
Yes,
Yeah.
selection
Hey,
project.
I want. Whoops.
No, I thought
Oh yeah, I thought he was
you were
muted.
I thought you were making a joke
didn't
about
realize
it.
he was
Yeah,
like,
I thought he was
"Wait a
making a
minute."
joke about it.
Well,
I thought he was
it
purposely
kinda
making a
is
joke
like
about it.
Idly Pride, I guess.
I like. Anyways, yeah. Okay, keep going. Selection project is done by Duokoba, I believe. Duokoba Studios. It
Who
is
told you that?
Hey, you told me that it is a series. It's anime original, or rather, part of. Is it part of a multimedia project or no?
I guess I don't know what
I mean, it's
Idol.
Yeah,
idol
it
shit,
is.
right? So it's
Yeah,
probably a
it's
multimedia project.
it's Idol Edition reality show multimedia project. It probably has like a bunch of like games and stuff like that. I
I don't. I looked
believe.
up. I couldn't find a single thing.
Yeah, I believe it has a
Is it a mobile game? I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think
it probably does have a mobile game, but it's going to recruit a bunch of less veteran or like people who are not as big
I mean,
in
fresh
the
meat.
yeah, fresh meat, yeah, new
This is fresh
blood,
meat.
yeah, fresh meat in the voice acting, and I want to say maybe like Idol, but it's all falling door in the idol industry for
Speaking of
them to do
fresh
multimedia.
meat, almost all of the main characters in the show are fresh meat,
Yeah, that's
and
why I'm saying it's like
and
they're sort of hiring them to
and the
further
two
this idol
and the
project.
two veteran voice actors in here in this series get shafted pretty hard in like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So
So they're like, get the fuck out of here. You guys are just voice actresses. Like, give the
what's
new
selection
people a
project?
chance.
All right, so selection project's about some 14-year-old girl, Suzune,
Uh-huh.
who has had a heart problem for a while, and she sees Akari Amasawa, voiced by Hayami Saori. You know who that is, Spire?
I believe I have heard of her. Yes.
Yeah, she's the winner of the first season of Selection Project, and Akari likes her song so much that the reason why she started singing was to be just like her. But it's not really a spoiler because it's like in the first 5 minutes of the series. Spoiler: Akari dies in a car crash like 3 years before the series starts, and you know who voices Akari? It's Hayami Saori. Who's Hayami Saori? She's a veteran voice actor.
Yes.
Get it? Get it? And who voices Suzune? Hinaki Yano. I don't know who this is, but she's 24 years old and she's very new as a voice actor. That's cool. And then yeah, so Suzune is in the top. Is in like is the finalist of the Northern Kanto block, along with two other losers that no one cares about. Plus Sarah Kurusu, who's I think half Californian, half American, and so you got the blonde girl, and she's voiced by
Wait, did you
Sao.
say half California and half American?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Californians are like a separate breed. You know?
California
I
actually
was like,
seceded
I was
by
like,
the time the series is up.
I thought you corrected yourself, but you just said half Californian and half American.
Yeah.
Okay,
Half
keep going.
then-
half human, half Californian.
But yeah, she's voiced by Saori Onishi. Spire, do you know who Saori Onishi is?
Yes, I have heard of this voice actress, Toast. Thank you.
The famous Sai Kano voice actor.
Yes, thank you.
Not what? No, what?
Yes, Toast,
What?
go on.
Yeah.
Okay,
So so some stuff happens in the northern Kanto block, and see, some stuff happens, and the winner of the Kanto block was originally Seira, but because some mishap that happened during Suzune's final act, everyone was like, "Damn, she's better than me," and so although Seira won, she was all like, "I'm gonna go back to America and train, so I'm dropping out of the selection project tournament. I'll leave it to you, Suzune." And I was
So-
like, "What the heck is that?" Yeah, I was like, "Is this a metaphorical passing of the torch of old voice actors to new voice actors?"
I don't think it's that deep of
I don't know,
an
Spire.
allegory.
You got
I don't think it's that deep of an
You
allegory.
got the original winner, who's voiced by a veteran voice actor. She drops out. We never see her again.
Are you saying that like Odishisari is gonna die? Like she dies in the anime, she dies in real life? What are you implying here?
Well, I haven't. We're 9 episodes
She
in.
must
She's only
pass
been
the
in the
torch.
first 2 episodes. So yeah,
This
she's
voice
gone
act, the
from the
Seiyu game.
she's gone from the series. No one cares about her. And then we have a Hayami Saori, whose character is actually dead. But like,
Yes.
so it's like, what's your game here?
I mean, I think they're setting up for this set of idols to be voiced by more inexperienced voice actors.
Well, yeah, this is the literal passing of the torch. We're going to use these.
They're not passing any torch.
We're killing off.
They're not.
We're killing off the old idols
Shows what
and
you know.
make way for the new idols. Yeah.
I don't think they're passing.
There can be only one, dude.
There can only be 48 idols at any one time.
Yeah.
That's what the AKB48 stands for.
Don't you know? Apparently, idol voice actors have expiration dates now.
Yeah,
Is
once
that
they
how it
graduate,
works?
they just die. It's like
They
they
get
get
it tattooed
Thanos
on
now.
their
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah. God damn it.
But yeah,
so
like
Toast,
That shitty
the
movie with
important-
Justin Timberlake when their timer runs out. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wait.
that was
So,
Justin Timberlake.
Can I?
What?
So
What do you
the
want?
general thing of the series is pretty similar to a bunch of other idol series. where
Idly
they kind
Pride.
of all interact. Yeah, Idly Pride. I mean, even the bigger brands, Love Live, Idolmaster, whatever. And the fact that each of the girls kind of have their own backgrounds, and sometimes the episode kind of focuses on their backgrounds and their struggles and stuff like that. But most of it is based upon the idols and how, or the aspiring idols rather, and how they interact with each other, and they keep telling each other, you gotta do the best, or you gotta just have fun. You gotta have fun so the audience can have fun, and all that sort of happy-go-lucky kind of stuff. So, is there anything do you think in this anime, the Selection Project, that makes it different and maybe better or even worse? I don't necessarily know. I think it's relatively similar. Do you think there's anything different in here that makes it different from something like an Idol Pride or Idolmaster, or what is it? That high school one? I say high school idol one as if there's only one, but the one that has
most idols are like middle school. Fire. You high school idol? That's too old.
That's too old.
Yeah, that's like a bunch of botch lines,
The Wake Up Girls, Wake Up Girls was another project. There's Idolmaster.
How old are the Love Live girls? Aren't they like 14?
Varying.
Aren't they in high school?
I think
they're varying.
Isn't Mickey 18?
But there's only like one of them, right?
She's
She's not a
wait, Toast said Love
majority high
Live, right?
school.
Oh, Love Live?
Yeah.
No, yeah, they're all in high
Yeah,
school
yeah,
because they're
yeah.
all in.
Yeah, they're on.
They're all in the club.
They're and act like
Started
high
the club to
school, yeah.
save their high school.
Wow, they're old.
Yeah.
They're barely
Yeah,
even
too
high.
old for me. Too
How
old
did-
for me.
Where was I? So yeah, so the
So what do you
whole
think their
the
differences
whole
are?
selection project revolves around Suzune. I mean, you got the nine main characters, right? I don't even remember their names, except
Yes,
Suzune
that's
and Reina, because they're like the two main ones, the two obvious main ones. Then you got the seven others. Whatever. There's a fat chick. There's a cat girl. There's the sporty one.
Damn.
Wait, when you're saying
there's
fat girl,
what?
you
She
mean
eats a
like
lot.
yes?
And then there's the old one who everyone
Yeah.
calls mom.
Japan would never actually put a actually fat girl in a fucking.
Yeah,
idol
I just wanted
be
to make
real.
I just wanted to just make it clear to the listeners out there that Toast is talking about it's like a Hanayo situation in Love Live where it's like she's like I love rice. It's like that's her shtick or whatever it is.
Yeah. But she is
yeah.
fucking thin as a pencil. Let's be real.
Yeah, then you got the child actor who's I think 11. Some chick whose mom works at a cabaret. There's
That's the important part. Yeah.
then you've got a so-called tomboy, but not really a tomboy. She's more like a gyaru, but everyone says, "Oh, I'm a tomboy." And like when it comes to Valentine's, all the girls give me stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what your character is, but you look like a gyaru, so that's it. Because the tomboy is obviously the athletic, tanned one, and I'm like, whatever, that's fine. And then you got Suzune, the obvious, I happy-go-lucky, I want to sing and all that. Then you got Reina. Is it Reina? Yeah, Reina, the cool one, who takes this seriously.
Yeah, but
He's like,
again,
you're all my rivals, and I'm not doing this to make friends. I'm going to be number one. Whatever.
Is there a significant difference, as you know, in terms of the story or the structure between this and like a standard how most idol series anime adaptations tell their story? Again, like Love Live or like an Animecast or like Idol Pride. Is there a significant difference somewhere or no?
So that's what the selection project is. They're supposed to be all competing against each other to become top number one idol. I don't know, kind of like that one.
I mean,
show.
do you think that? I mean, I don't want to necessarily push you too hard on this point, but do you think that actually
me
makes
finish.
a difference?
Let me finish.
Yeah, okay.
It's tournament style, Spire. What's that show called? American Idol. American Idol.
American Idol.
Where you get so the way they advance through this tournament is they get things. Was it cheers or yells? I don't know. I'm just gonna call them both. So
Bits,
so
Twitch bits.
every they have a specific for every round you have to have a specific amount of votes in order to go on to the next round, and these votes are determined by people all around the world, or the viewers at home who got to vote on their girl.
Viewers
whatnot.
like you.
Yeah, sure. So and then they get a bunch of votes and whatnot. So that's how it goes.
Okay, so do you think the competitive setup? I mean, Love Live had a competitive setup too, right? Because they had the different schools or whatever, right? They had the different like idols competing, and like they had the original group being like, oh, those three like really good idols, we need to compete against them or whatever it is. Like we'll never be like them, and then they save their academy by becoming idols and so on, right? But I mean, does selection project make a big difference with having the competition be a little bit more direct? I don't think it does from my perspective.
Well, I'm gonna say it's pretty obvious how this series plays out, because you know a little bit of the background of this series. They all was it all 9 voice actors in this?
Uh-huh.
are in a group called Nine Tie. 90
Yes.
cute 9 tie, but in Japanese it's QT. Get it? Because 9 is Q.
Uh,
Get it?
yes.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, in the first round, guess what? All of them pass because they were separated into 3 groups. Like, hey, we're gonna give you 3 options. Choose what you want, like what you like best. And there was an option for singing, dancing, and instruments. So you had the 2 obvious main characters, Suzune and Reina. They're the only 2 that picked singing. And then I don't care about the rest. There was like four who were doing dancing. Uh, who are? Let me look at their faces again. 4 who were dancing. They were the cabaret girl, the fat girl, the not tomboy / gyaru, and the tomboy. They were doing, they did dancing thing, and then you had the cat girl / the cat girl rich chick, the child idol, and the mom. They were doing instruments. But yeah, you needed a set amount of votes to pass. So no spoiler, they all passed. There was
So there's no. I mean,
there was some interesting drama between
So the competition's over then, right? Like,
no.
so there's no difference ultimately, is what you're saying. Is
So there was some interesting story backgrounds between Suzune and Reina. I think this is episode like 3 or 4. They were the first group to perform, and they obviously got their votes instantly. And then the next episode was the dancing crew. They had their hardships, but they got their votes. And then the instrument crew, they did their stuff. But yeah, all 9 of them passed. And then round 2 happened, and guess what? They had to do a what is it? They had to do a summer song in bikinis. Like they did it as a group, but
classic.
but the way is that each one of them they were going to be rated individually. Each one of them had to have 100,000 votes in order to pass to the next round. And then and then during that round again there was a bunch of drama and story reasons between Suzune and Reina. Mostly Suzune because she was sickly, so she has this huge scar on her chest, so she doesn't want to show that in her swimsuit. And they all banded together and whatnot. And guess what? All 9 of them passed again.
That's
Oh.
insane.
Again.
So
All
yeah,
right.
and then
There's no
the last
difference.
part, like I'm about 9 episodes in. So now they have a final round where the final
Wait, are we
round.
doing? Can we not do a play by play? All right. Can we
I'm almost
seriously
done.
though? All right.
Final round where now this is unprecedented in the history of this show, the all 7 seasons so far. So they're all like, okay, now between the 9 of you, you're gonna have a vote, see who to kick out 2 members. So there's only gonna be 70 of them, and I'm like, why is it 7? Why has it got to be such a specific number of 7? Why couldn't it be the last remaining member? But yeah,
Okay.
you can kind of see where this goes because the name of their group is QT9T, and all 9 of them sing the opening to
Right.
the actual series. So
yeah, I mean, none of them are gonna get fucking kicked out.
They die in real life. But
So,
yeah.
like,
Again,
realistically,
so
the competition is like, does it really
it's
serve any
irrelevant.
purpose? Like,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
really.
Yeah.
Competition's just there to reaffirm their beliefs in selection project and
Right.
why they want to become idols.
Right. Right.
And it
Y-
here it is. What?
Oh no, I was just no finish your thing because it's like I just want to add on to like the topic that we're discussing. But
But
what
yeah,
were you gonna say?
because you can kind of see where it plays out.
Right.
None of them are gonna. They're all gonna pass. This is it's kind of obvious when you listen to the opening. But yeah,
Okay. So I have a sort of, obviously, again, this is pretty similar to, again, a lot of the idol series that we've watched and viewed before. And if you, let's say you could sit down the next person who is going to be like, I'm going to create, or I'm going to help produce a multimedia, or produce slash write for multimedia project involving, idols doing their stuff, going through all these struggles, whatever. If you could give them a piece of advice for them to kind of stand out in the crowd and not just become another sort of, you know, the same idol series that we've seen before. If you could give them one piece of advice, right? That like future writer, what advice would you give them?
I'd say, hey, you see the show Selection Project? Maybe you should take a note from this, because unlike all the other shows, there's not really any. This show's pretty serious. The way it portrays the idol stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like
Oh, you like the tone a bit more.
nine episodes in, it's literally all bit. There has been no real happy-go-lucky moments with this show. Like, oh, we're gonna take it easy and we're gonna have a fun day out. No, they've been pretty serious about the whole idol story this goes in.
Right.
And
So it's a
yeah,
little bit more of like a work kind of thing. It's not like, oh, we're gonna all jump in the air and high five each other. It's more of like serious. Like we're gonna kind of show a little bit more about.
there's a little bit of that
Cost-
through the character, the character personalities, but
Mhm.
in essence, the story of this series is pretty serious.
Okay.
And is it to the point? It's pretty linear in a way. They don't really take too many sidetracks.
Mhm.
The show. I mean, you have the 7 characters, but the obvious 2 mains, they have the stories centralized around them.
Right.
Because let's see, spoiler, Reina is the younger sister of the Jed chick, Kari, and so most of the story, the serious parts of this story revolves around Akari and how she's impacted the lives of both Suzune and Reina.
Mhm.
So they obviously get the huge brunt of the character development compared to the other 7.
Yeah.
Is this shafted? I don't know. I guess maybe, but this is what 12, 13 episodes.
Yeah. This is 12 episodes.
Yeah, so the story mainly revolves around those 2, and the 7 are to tag along. They're because the other 7's motivations for the series, they're pretty standard. Like, oh, I'm a rich chick and I'm gonna do it to prove that my family's the best in the world and whatnot. What is it? And I don't know. The fat chick's like, oh, I'm gonna promote. Where is she from? I don't even remember. I'm gonna promote the food in Hokkaido. Like, okay.
Hokkaido has good food, though. To be fair, and it has the that's where the sort of the meme infamous milk bread comes from, right? The Hokkaido milk bread.
The
But
what?
yeah, Hokkaido milk bread. The
I
the
don't know what
Japanese
that is.
milk bread thing is originally from
I only
the
know
Japanese milk
Chinese
bread.
milk bread. I know
Oh well, yeah. I
Chinese
mean, it's the
and
same thing.
Japanese and American milk bread, or not American, Filipino milk bread.
Okay.
Is that the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing?
They're
They look the same.
pretty much the same premise. They're pretty much the same premise. Yeah.
Man, it is the same thing.
Yeah, because
Why do
the
3
idea
countries have the
is
same milk bread? That's
it's like,
something's happening
I
in the background.
mean, a lot of people think upon ideas and they end up hitting upon the same idea. It's but anyways,
But
any
yeah,
last words on the selection project?
story's good. I'm invested in it. It's
Hmm.
like I said, it's very serious. It makes sense. Very well written story
Okay.
for 9 episodes in. Oh, but yeah, let's see. It's Dogakobo. Visuals are excellent. I don't have any
Yeah.
complaints. Every episode so far has had a musical number because this is an idol series, so you've got to do a musical number. That's CG for the musical numbers. I mean, it's okay. It's
Standard.
it's the let's see, the art fits the CG well. You can obviously tell when it's CG, but move well. It's not that bad.
Mhm.
The best one was episode 8. No, 7, which is when they were doing their swimsuit song. That wasn't CG. That was all. That was all
Live
with
action.
it was all with the same
Puppet show.
animation style. It wasn't jarring CG, so that's good.
Honestly, again, as long as what was I gonna say? As long as it's not like how Love Live season 1 was, I'm fine with it at this point. At this point, just as long as it's not like how Love Live ended up, where whenever they did
What
an
do you
insert song,
mean, bro?
it turned into like a Nico, one of those Miku
Yeah,
Nico
it
Nico, like
looks better.
Miku
Fucking
mats.
10 FPS.
Yeah,
Like,
3D, like
Pretty
they
atrocious
have like random
models,
breaks.
honestly.
well,
Animatronic.
Atrocious compared to the fucking rest of the show. Like,
yeah, it looked good, I guess. It's
Mhm.
job. Who are you? Who made this? Doga Kovo. Yeah, good job. What else? I can't believe. I wonder how much they paid Hayami Saori for that song though, because she has her character
Mhm.
has a song called "Only One Yell," and they play it a lot in the series.
Yeah, I mean, having songs be done by the voice actress who also has a role in the series is not uncommon these days. But yeah, they probably did pay her a lump sum because she is becoming more popular.
Do you think? How much did they really pay her? Because everyone else in the series also sings the song. Because they have a bunch of songs in the series, but they sing their own rendition of "Only One Yell."
Mhm.
Maybe they cut her 1/10 of the profit of the song because it's not really her song since everyone else sings it, but in
Right.
in in the series it is. Whatever. Where am I going with this? Uh, series is all right. I mean, good. I really enjoy the more serious story
Mhm.
between the two main leads compared to other idol series. You know that one. What's her name? What's that one chick's name?
Mm. Which person?
That one Chihai episode. That was a good episode, wasn't it? Her whole
Ye-
character arc.
yes, in Idolmaster, right? You're talking about.
The one where her what is it? Her younger brother died in a car crash.
Yes.
Wow, that. I mean,
The
two tragic, two two heroines with a tragic backstory that binds them together through the dead characters through the dead character. That's pretty good. Unlike some other series with a dead character that impacts the rest of the series. You know which one I'm talking about.
I
What?
don't think I do. Which series are you talking about?
I don't even remember what it's called. It made me angry. Uh,
What do you
Fuka.
what do you
Man, I hate
what?
that series.
Wait, which one?
You remember Fuka from Koji
Fuka. I
Seo?
mean, we okay. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying we probably we've had there's a quota for talking about shitty series for say Koji in here in this podcast.
I mean,
I think we've tipped it. It's like nuclear radiation. You have a lifetime quota. It's like we don't talk about that series. We talk
Kimitsu
about new stuff.
Yoromachi wasn't that bad. I hated Suzuka, and guess what?
Suzuka is pretty bad. Yeah.
Fuka is a sequel to Suzuka because because Fuka is the daughter of the two characters in Suzuka, and guess what? Their daughter died. So, am I happy that the daughter died from that crappy series? Sure, I am. But
yeah,
yeah,
all
it's like,
right.
oh, I hope so. It's like, oh, that bloodline's gone. No more stories of these characters. I'd rather just watch more. I'd rather just go on with Kimito Iramachi stuff, unless they kill their daughter too. Then I'll be like, you're really gonna put all your eggs in that death tag, huh?
Anyways,
Where am I going with this? Stories. The story's good. The visuals are good. Serious story, good visuals. Would I recommend people check it out? Yeah, actually, yeah. It's not so
Okay.
much in. It's not. Well, it is an idol series, but it's not too focused on the actual idol stuff. Well, I mean, the idol stuff is just a means to an end to portray the story. If it was something else, then the story would have been fine as well. Maybe if it was robots, like Akari was this super cool robot, giant robot pilot that died in an accident.
Maybe if
Like,
this was just Symphogear. So you're saying like if
Symphogear
this was like Symphogear.
Xenoglossia specifically?
Xenoglossia, yeah. If this was like Idolmaster Xenoglossia, it would have been better, is what you're saying, right?
Symphogear is pretty good. Macross, was it Delta that had the Chinese, the singing Chinese cat girl?
Macross
good,
Delta
right?
was really good, except fucking part where like, Tommy subs or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you can't help that. That's just an inevitable fact of a Western.
Yeah.
I prefer my idol anime to be a bit more serious. Well, let me say, I don't care about. Oh, we're happy-go-lucky school. I don't care. I don't. I'm past the point where I don't care
Where's
about
the
a school
death?
setting.
Where's the murder? Huh?
I mean, we just need
I don't like
Precure, but with dying, right? Is this
I,
what we're
I don't
saying?
like I don't like the high school setting. Give me like a real setting.
A
Giant
real
robot.
setting, but isn't
Hell
that a
yeah.
real setting?
Where are the
Is
MILF?
it?
Where are the MILF idols?
Isn't this a real? Are AKB idols mostly like grown from like high school to
Grown from test
whenever
tubes,
they
yes.
graduate? Yeah,
Yeah.
for test tubes. They feed them into the Soylent Green machine, and they're just like off they go. Yeah, they feed them into the next generation.
I prefer the Miss Tournament style / sports arc idol thing. Or Nia, what was that one show where you were like, oh, or you're talking about it was a drama club, but it was more serious. It was like a tournament.
Sure. What do you?
Covered a series where it was like, oh, we're in the drama club, but we also fight each other. That's the good stuff.
Kageki Shoujo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff. Like
the show was good.
Yeah, like that. So yeah, what am I recommending? Yeah, what am I gonna rate it? I'll rate it a 9. I'll go far as to say this is the best
Classic.
series, the best series I've reviewed this season. Even better than Assassin Aristocrat. What else did I review this season? I don't remember. But
Didn't you review some decent stuff? I think. Well, no, you reviewed only one other thing. Okay, but
what else did I review? I don't remember. Assassin. That's fine, I guess.
Oh, you Shinka no Mi, right? I guess this is the best one.
Shinka no Mi? No, not that.
Yeah.
That's boring. Build Divide. I got bored of it. I mean, I'm still watching it, but it's like I just watched for the card game, not for the story. But yeah. Yeah. It is the best series I've watched this season.
Okay.
Check it out. It's pretty cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Toast, for helping to cover the selection project. This is a anime adaptation, or not an anime adaptation, anime original, part of a multimedia project being run by, I believe, Kadokawa. It's like Idol Audition Virtual Reality, or whatever the fuck the name is. And it is again headed by Doga Kobo. If you do like, obviously, the way they run their audiovisuals, as well as you want to watch an idol series, maybe with a little bit more of a work sort of serious tone, then please do check it out. And last but not least, again, I don't know why I keep saying last but not least for myself. That's like that's
Yeah,
stupid.
pretty
Yeah. Hey, that's not what I meant to go for. I meant I keep saying that because
Last
I
and
usually
most important.
yeah, I was. It's because
And
I
finally, here's me.
The moment you've
It's because-
all been waiting for.
the reason why I keep saying that is because usually the last person is somebody else, not me, because I tend to usually pick up like random trash that's on the side. But I did watch Saihate no Paladin, or the Faraway Paladin. This is a anime adaptation of a light novel, I believe, or it was originally a web novel. Obviously, again, Shousetsu ni Naro, the infamous Japanese fan fiction site slash like light novel site, but it's essentially a fan fiction site. Became light novel, became an anime adaptation. It was done by who? It was done by Children's Playground Entertainment, like very small studio. I haven't seen much of them.
They did Shinka no Mi,
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Tsukiyuta,
Oh, so they're going
and
all in on the isekais, huh? They are going all in on the isekais.
What
and they
are
did Hatena
isekais?
Illusion.
Japanese children's
Yeah,
playground.
this sounds like they're doing yeah, pretty much all. It kind of reminds me of Studio White Fox, right? Because White Fox pretty much doing all isekais.
Wait,
Fantasy
they did
stories.
Citrus? Spy, didn't you cover Citrus?
They helped on Citrus, it seems.
Wasn't Citrus that Yuri series?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice.
this is Faraway Paladin. It's a guy who was a loner in his old life and was very sad about it.
Whoa.
Gets reincarnated into as a human being, being
Wow.
raised by super strong undead beings, and then later on he finds out the secret of where he's at, the state of the world, why the people raising him up are undead, and why he's so powerful, and why they're so powerful, and all this stuff are revealed to him, and he essentially has to travel the world, um, and kind of right wrongs or kind of spread kindness and like the word
And the
of
word of
his
God.
yeah, the word of God, the word of his essentially he becomes sort of a follower of like
Oh.
goddess of everything good, the cycle of life and death, and
What? I thought
all
it
this
was one
stuff.
specific god. Like,
Yeah.
what
So
wasn't it? The god of fire?
no, this is the goddess of light, I believe, is
Oh.
the one he makes contract with. But yeah, he wants to spread the word, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just about him making journeys to become stronger and kind of see what the hell is going on in the continent and stuff like that. So it becomes this standard sort of journey type series. Again, Kino no Tabi, Spice and Wolf, Majin no Tabi Tabi. You guys have been through this rigmarole before. Split up into sort of 2-3 episode mini arcs, right? While the Paladin kind of goes through all of this. And obviously, because it's an isekai, the guy is super powerful, knows all the magic, is super clever, is a genius, can think through all the stuff, has magic weapon that can do anything. He's super strong, blah, 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 kills God, etc., etc.
Yeah, so basically me.
Yeah, basically me. But so the series, I mean, the audiovisual aren't particularly special. It's pretty standard.
Is it the best looking isekai this season? Because Shinko no Mi is pretty sus.
It's pretty standard, but maybe it is.
Is it better than what is it?
World's Finest Assassin, Second
No,
Saiki.
shit. Shin Nakama Janai, because you cover that. No, I thought that had pretty decent visuals.
This one is slightly better in terms of visuals. Yeah. So one, by the way, I also want to give a slight shout out to some people in the voice casting, because first of all, the goddess, right? The grace field, the sort of mature goddess of light, that's also voiced by Yuki Aoi. So she's voicing both like a super like weird like cowboy and like a grace. I just want to say this is like one hell of a bump up for her potentially becoming like at least on my list for when we do the end of the year award show for potentially becoming voice actress of the year. I'm just saying, pretty
Wait,
good.
who?
That was a pretty good range. Yuki Aoi, the voice
Isn't
actress
she?
behind.
Isn't she old school now? You got to think about the new fresh.
Yeah, she's got to pass the torch, dude.
She's
Yeah.
the same
You
age
gotta
as
pass the
me.
torch,
She's
Fire.
old, dude. She's fucking old.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
that's
pass
true.
the torch, just like in
She
Selection
fell
Project.
off.
Yeah. And there was also, so there's a couple of obviously other characters, but the main character is actually voiced by Kawasamaki, who does a lot of sort of like Shota voices, I believe, a couple of Shota voices and a lot of tomboyish voices. And I just, I think she does an okay job, but it's pretty funny because one of the companions that the main character meets along the way is Murase Ayumu, or voiced by Murase Ayumu, like a half elf voiced by Murase Ayumu. And I'm just like, at times, Murase Ayumu sounds more feminine than Kawasaki. So I'm just like, well, I guess this happens, but fucking. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Murase Ayumu, infamous for mainly famous for doing the main character in Haikyuu, but very famous for doing sort of female femboy voices ish. So yeah. Anyways,
Why, Fire? I've noticed you have a correlation between femboy voices and gay voices. What's up with that?
if I have a correlation or there's a
Yeah.
correlation.
No, you do, because you remember that
What?
one gay Titan series you covered?
He doesn't mean correlation. He means something else. He means like fascination, or you skew towards.
Oh, fascination. Yeah.
Not correlation.
I was like, okay, so
You have a penchant
guess?
towards
yeah,
the
penchant. Yeah, that's fine. No, okay. Yes, I mean, I just think it's funny or not funny, but I like as like a voice actress or slash voice actor, otaku. I like hearing people
you like the
speak in like
Shota
different.
voices, huh?
Well, I do find it funny that a 32-year-old man can do more feminine voices sometimes than like actual
Do
females.
you think who's Rohan's voice actor? Yeah, who's Rohan's voice actor?
The Rohan? I forget.
What's his name? Is
Fucking.
it Hiroshi Kamiya or Takahiro
It's
Sakurai?
Takahiro Sakurai, yeah.
Do you think Takahiro Sakurai has a feminine voice?
Takahiro Sakurai?
Yeah.
I think Takahiro Sakurai mainly has the thing is he's surprisingly flexible in the way he can do, and like this sort of shows up when he does like he did his like earlier like BLCD stuff. But I think his lighter the thing is he's like he can do like kind of like a powerful male commanding voice, right? But his regular voice is quite light and it's super thin. So he can at least do like a very sort of like gender neutral ish voice. I don't know if you've also realized it here. It's like his regular voice is pretty thin, right? So he can kind of do that stuff. It is my opinion on him. So, but yeah, in general, going back to Saihate no Paladin, just a quick. My thoughts on the story is that the anime adaptation, at least, is a pretty straight, I think, adaptation of the light novel / web novel, but it's too long. It takes too long in the anime adaptation to go from all the developments and what's happening to the main character Will actually making the journey. So he only starts really making the journey after episode 5 or episode 6-ish. So at that point, I'm just like, all right, why did it take 5 entire episodes for him to actually start the proper plot of the series when we only freaking have 12 episodes to cover this? So I think it was a poor decision on the part of the director, on the part of the storyboarders involved to kind of drag it on this long. So maybe this could have used a little bit more truncation on the side. In terms of the actual series, I do like how the characters are kind of balanced out, where yeah, the main character is super powerful, but a lot of the other characters in the series, the supporting cast, the people who raised them, half elf companion, the other people, kind of all roll in and kind of do their work in terms of doing things in the story. And that's also part of why I also sometimes like uh, journey style series in general. Again, like Kingdom no Tabi, like Spice and Wolf, like Mahjong no Tabi Tabi, because it's not just about the main character running around and doing their stuff. It's about them being a little bit more observant and watching the other characters do their stuff, and that allows there to be a better balance of power, and it allows for the world to be a little bit more sensible and not just based around whatever whim the main character chooses to follow on that day or that minute. So I do like the way the balance of power, the way the other characters do stuff. I like how that's all sort of structured. I'm kind of like, oh, this is pretty cheesy. I'm not entirely decided on whether I like the level of cheese in this series, where it's like, I know I'm gonna be able to, come back and save everyone, or like I know I can be the best, like doing this like Ash Ketchum kind of shit going on, um, or like I know I can provide kindness and do all this and help out everybody. I don't know how much I'm driven by the cheesiness in the story, uh, whether it's enough, whether it goes overboard enough for me to just be like, fuck it, I'll just get on the ride and just enjoy the cheese, or whether it's not enough, I'm just like, it's a little bit disappointing. It could be a little bit more mellow. It could be a little bit more better on the character development, on the introspection. But it is what it is. It's relatively cheesy. It's not cheesy enough for me to fully be on the ride yet. But it is very like, yeah, I'm gonna go and be kind to everyone. I'm gonna go on my journey. Yeah, come with me, Pikachu. All that fucking shit. But it is what it is so far. I like the setup at the beginning. I'm not really fond of the journey portion yet, but hopefully, as it develops more and more characters kind of come and go, maybe I'll like it more. But so far, it's kind of The journey part is a little bit too and I'm not a big fan of it. So that's sort of my pretty brief review on the story. The story really hasn't gotten that far yet, so I'm like shrugging my shoulders over it.
How many episodes is it right now?
It's 7 episodes plus a 7.5, which is just a recap of what's been going on.
Give me a rundown of what happens in 7.
In 7?
Yeah. How far
In
is the story right now?
In 7, he mainly he kind of forms a stronger bond with the half elf dude and decides to really go on a journey with him to kind of defeat demons and see what's going on.
Is it past the part where they met like an old witch or a ghost or whatever?
Yeah. The witch, the old lady of the village that the half elf used to be in. That the old lady took care of the half elf.
So it's setting up towards the big fight. Okay.
Well, I don't know
that already
if
happened?
it's. Yeah, I don't know if it's setting up towards a big fight, but definitely the two are going together to a place where they'll probably fight. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sold on the journey portion of this series. The initial setup was okay, but yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to watch a sort of pretty cheesy, maybe slightly substandard, slightly subpar journey series, then check this one out. It's again the Faraway Paladin, Saihate no Paladin. It's done by Children's Playground Animations or whatever it's called. Yeah, Children's Playground Entertainment. Again, a much smaller studio. But yeah, check this out. And with that, we are finally, sorry for all of these sidetrack and tangents. We are finally moving on to our news as well as
what would you rate the series out of 10?
Out of 10? I am going to probably give it a 6.5. 6.5. Yeah, is what I would say.
What isekai is it better than, and what isekai is it worse than?
It's definitely.
When does he become the Lich King?
Yeah, that's true. When does he? When does he turn into Overlord?
Does
Yeah.
he cull
So-
the whole city?
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of me being a little bit more objective, because again, I know like we talked about how like Yushin Nakama, right? The thing where it's like the guy got kicked out of
Shin
the
Nakama?
heroes party. Yeah. So I have a very sort of dirty spot in my heart for those very cheesy series. Like I like reading through them. I'm not saying they're good. I'm never saying they're good, but I like reading through them. So
So you like ReZero, huh?
you're treading very dangerous territory there, buddy. You're treading very dangerous territory there, buddy. That's not
I'll
what I
say it.
said.
I don't like ReZero all that much.
I
think it's just
Hot
the worst
take.
Konosuba.
I know
Very hot
that's a very
take.
hot take in this podcast. Yes, but I-
What is it, Ram and Rem? I don't care for them.
I personally think that this series is better than pretty much all of the isekais this season, and I would say it's not again because it likens itself a little bit more to the standards fantasy person. One person is kind of wandering and seeing all the different towns and stuff like that, and interacting with people and seeing their ups and downs. So it's a little bit better than the standard isekai where the guy, gets hit by a truck and gets shoved into a harem kind of thing, where he's kind of traveling
It's
plus
the
or
type
minus
of
stuff.
isekai where at the point that he's a reincarnator is just not really the focus of the series, right? It's
Yeah,
just
the
there
reincarnation is
as
not
a.
the focus. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, hey, I'm reincarnated, and like that's it.
Essentially, the reason why the reincarnation bit is there, obviously, yeah, it gives him like a bit of the boost, like the intelligence boost, but it also sometimes acts as like the psychological trigger, like, oh, I was alone in my past life, and I don't want to be alone, or I don't want others to be alone like this anymore, or whatever it is. So it acts as like that sort of dramatic psychological trigger sometimes, but it's not really, yeah, it's not that relevant in the overall scheme of things.
I can't believe the best isekais are the ones where the reincarnation part is not at the forefront of this series.
Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Liar? What about Slime Tensei?
Well, there are exceptions. Also,
Yeah,
that's
there are
like,
exceptions. Yeah,
that's like one of the originals.
But yeah, anyways, there was I would say it's better than the standard stuff, but it's not much better. So that's sort of what I would about it. But yeah, that's my review on again my sort of overall thoughts on Saihate no Paladin, and moving on to the news here. Okay, we don't have that many non-personal pieces of news, but we have two pieces of news that people might be interested in, all about the numbers and the lists, right? So first, the Japan Magazine Publishers Association, or JMPA, has revealed that the print circulation of Shueisha's weekly Shonen Jump, this is like the manga magazine, right? Weekly Shonen Jump. This is like almost every manga creator dreams of being in Weekly Shonen Jump, right? Fell to 1.37 million copies during the period of July to September 2021. So, by the way, this means this is print circulation.
Physical or
Yeah, this is print circulation. So it doesn't mean like mangas are dying or like the drawing format is dying. It means that specifically, again, manga physical copies are becoming more and more sort of as novelty items. Obviously, there's still somewhat mainstream use in Japan, but not even there. And sort of the age of digitalization, right? Pretty much every publisher, Shueisha, Shugakukan, Kodansha, they all have digital manga readers and stuff like that these days. So it's pretty much everything is going into the way of phone apps and subscription stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how the full transition occurs, but we'll see. The next piece of news and the last piece of news is actually the 2022 edition of Takarajimasha's Konorai novel ga sugoi, or This Light Novel is Amazing guidebook, reported its list of the top light novel series on Thursdays. So another light novel ranking list for everybody to be angry / happy over. So the one that topped the list is Akatsuki Kana's Shunka Shuto Daikousha Haru no Mai, or Four Seasons Proxy Spring Dance. The novels take place in a world where the only season is winter. Winter lives a lonely experience, so they create spring. A short time later, due to the wishes of the land, summer and fall are born. 4 seasons are complete. The human children in charge of bringing the new season every 3 months are called the proxies of the 4 seasons. This kind of sounds like Nier. Doesn't this series kind of sound like the premise for Sunday Without God or whatever it is? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wait, did you read that? Have you read that? Read it?
A little
Kami-sama no
bit.
Inai Nichiobi. Kind of sounds
Yeah.
like that. But anyways, so there's another one where it's like Bunkorori Sasaki no Pichan that's how it is okay. And then there's one that's Chitose-kun no Ramune bin no Naka, or Chitose-kun is in the Ramune bottle. I've heard of this one. Second year in a row. This is just like a very standard, rom-com harem kind of story. Then what else? So Ishura, stuff like that. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Kono Ride Novel ga Sugoi does recommend some stuff, but it's not like those awards sometimes that we talk about where it's a bunch of like bookstore owners talking about what's the best stuff and you get a bunch of niche stuff that's really cool. A lot of this is like it's like a mix of like some stuff that's like decent, but a lot more of it's like pretty mainstream rom-com harem, like light novel stuff in this series. So don't take it too much to heart, but if you do see some new titles on here, maybe check it out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the news. Oh, I do want to mention something really quick. The 63rd Japan Record Awards announced on Friday that Lisa's Akeboshi song for the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Mugen Train arc anime was named one of the songs of the year. Can I just look? The thing is like Lisa is a good singer, and I'm sure Akeboshi is not like a bad song. But can we not have things win Song of the Year just because they're attached to Demon Train? Like, come on!
Nope.
No,
Demon
Train has to win everything.
It's Homura, right?
What?
That's the song, right? That everyone. Yeah, it's Homura. Homura's pretty good. Leave it alone.
It's. I agree. Homura is good, but Akiboshi is not Homura, right? So,
Maybe to some people it is inspired. You can't stomp on their dreams like that.
That's true. I apologize, but yeah, just Demon Slayer can't stop winning. Mugen Train just breaking every record in the face, like in the universe, I guess, in the known universe, and maybe even more beyond that. It's just anything it touches turns to gold, so on.
Can't believe Mugen Train beat out Cabaneri. What is it? Of the Iron Fortress. Is that what? That's the one.
I don't think that's a very high bar.
What?
I don't think it's a very
Wait,
high
what?
bar. Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress is not a very high bar.
What
Dude,
isn't
everyone,
that made
it's
by
like-
the Attack on Titan Sky?
Yeah, and then everyone was like, "Oh, dude, Attack on Titan," and then like it came out, and everyone was like, "Oh, whatever." It's not Attack on Titan.
Anyways, that was pretty much it for the news. Again, congratulations to Lisa for winning that. And we are going to move on finally again to our shout out to callouts. And this is again our corner where everybody gets one shout out and one call out each. It can be shout outs is one thing that you want to praise, give 5 out of 5 stars, rave reviews on Yelp, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. And callouts are the exact opposite, something that you want to rant about, flame. 0 out of 5. I almost said 0 out of 0. What is that? What the fuck does that mean? 0 out of 5. Send angry DMs to that person at the in the middle of the night, and can be again any one person, place, or thing. And the first person to give our shout out to call us goes to Nier. What do you have for us
Wow.
today?
Shoutouts to the JoJo Part 6 opening.
Oh, you
Mhm.
saw that too. It's pretty good,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it got shown off today. It's pretty good. We finally get the return of the 3D openings. Because
Nier. That's because Josuke isn't a mainline JoJo, and neither is Giorno.
they are though.
They're not part of the Jotaro bloodline.
Yeah, but it's still part 4 and 5. But anyway,
Nier, they aren't Jotaro or Joseph or
That's
Jonathan.
true. They are not.
they indeed
They're not
are
those
not.
characters.
They
Yeah.
are different characters from those characters.
Believe
it
You
or
are
not.
correct.
They're just who's it? Josuke? Who cares about Josuke? He's not a real JoJo. He's a Higashita. And Giorno? He's a Giorno. He's not a Jotaro. He's not a Joestar in name.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
But yeah, the opening is good. As for callouts, I don't know. I think I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna call out Arcane because it has fucking injected Imagine Dragons into my YouTube recommended.
It's also injected Imagine Dragons
what's
into
wrong
the
with
Runeterra
Magic
universe.
Dragons?
Yeah.
It's so hype, bro. You gotta listen to Warriors for like the
Over and over again.
Yeah, over and over
Yeah.
again, bro.
Yeah,
Till
it's
it fucking
awesome.
melts your brain out of your ears.
And then you gotta hear the other version of it, the
Look,
one that like actually
I
the other
want to
video or whatever.
say, I don't think that Imagine Dragons songs are bad necessarily, but what I do think is that they're songs that are like made
They're like
by
not.
AIs.
They're like not real. They're like a not real song.
They're like
They're
it's
so
like,
cheap.
oh, an
Like, I think
AI
that's
made
awesome.
an AI made the catchiest song known to man.
Yeah.
The AI went through like
And this is what it
100,000
spit
like
out. Yeah, like
the AI listened to 100,000 songs, but they're all within from 2005 to like 2012 ish. Like that's the only songs they listen to. And they're specifically in the rock genre. Like that's the only songs they listen to, and they spit out Imagine Dragons song. But yeah, so
Arcane is
unfortunate.
good, but
Mhm.
I fucking hate it when I'm just like letting music like autoplay on YouTube, and it's just like, yeah, here's Imagine Dragons, go fuck yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
God fucking
All right. Thank you, Nier, for your shout out calls. And my shout out call, I guess I'll go next here. My shout out here goes to oh yeah, so it'll go to, I guess, this last Thanksgiving break because I got to meet up with family and it was great. My shout out freaking goes to the fucking taxi driver who drove me back from the airport, and the shit cost $65 or like $70 for like a 20-minute trip, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with what the fuck is wrong with you? And
That's about right.
Is it though? I
Yeah, it is.
I literally paid like half the cost for the ride to the airport. So
Maybe you should have ordered an Uber.
I mean, Uber wasn't available there, so I just got shafted. But yeah. So call us to that guy. But that's pretty much all it for my shout and call out. Toast. What about you?
Shout out. I'm gonna shout out. Oh, I'm gonna shout out. What's your name again? I don't know. Gotta shout out Seiju Natsumegu. Is that you? I think that's you. That's you, right?
Natsume Seiji is the artist, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of that one manga, The Yakuza and the Cop. That's a good manga. They're also a
Yeah.
VTuber. Did they
It's,
play
I believe it's YakuzaとMetsuki no Warui Onna Keiichi no Hanashi. So I believe it's like the story of a Yakuza and a bad female detective, a stern female detective with a stern face, and the localized title is Arrested Love.
Oh yeah. But yeah. I don't know. Were they part of the Giant Crab game collab? I don't know. I didn't know Shiramoto was in that collab, and that was a good collab.
Yeah, he
You know,
killed
if you
Pikami multiple times. He was real
Yeah.
rude. He would call like truces and friendship, and then he'd immediately betray everyone.
Yeah, that was a good collab. Check it out. The Niji Sanji crab game with a bunch of other VTubers and mangaka.
All right. Then moving on
Is that my
again.
shout out?
Yeah, that was your shout out. Did you do your call out?
My call out. I'm gonna call out.
Yes, your call out.
I'm gonna call out the Koreans.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
I can't. Fire, translate this website. I can't read a damn thing on this.
Is that why you're calling them out? Because
Yeah,
you can't translate the site?
I can't read Korean.
I apologize for speaking Korean.
Why are you apologizing for your language, Fire? Do you hate yourself?
No, because you called out Koreans for speaking Korean, right?
No, it's that I can't read your Korean language. Get with the times.
So that's why you're calling the a little bit misguided, but I can empathize potentially.
What is Mundong?
I don't know what it is.
Here, let me see if I can copy it. Let me auto translate here.
Well, you can do that after.
Yeah,
Dark.
I can't read this.
Dark. What is your shout and call out, sir?
No, shout out to Arcane. Now, Near might hate Imagine Dragons, but I can stomach it. I actually don't mind the song Enemy. Got a really good part with the rapper JID in it. There are some sick fucks that have like versions that just remove that part. Why listen to the song? Like, okay, you want to listen to half of like an Imagine Dragons song on repeat, just like looped twice? That's hell. Yeah,
Okay.
so Arcane's got a really good soundtrack. Got a song by Miyavi, which is he's also in the series, which is also very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that show is gorgeous, and I really like it.
Your call out?
My call out's gonna be to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo for fucking
What? I like that place.
no, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. It's for
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
what's it called? Star Citizen.
I thought you meant the real one.
Spent some money, so
Was it worth it?
it will be when it stops being a JPEG.
I can't believe you paid $600 for an NFT.
Hey,
it's not a monkey
Dark
though,
is
so you know.
Dark is technically evolving beyond gotcha games and paying for JPEGs and PNGs. He's evolving to paying for 3D models now. So you guys got to give him some respect. So that's, and by the way, they're assured, right? It's 100%. You are actually getting the thing and not just a chance at getting the thing. So
Yeah, I mean, I get.
good.
I also, yeah,
Still
I will
sucks
get
up.
it when it's done.
Yeah,
what if it
he's
doesn't
not
come
getting
out?
fucked in the ass by Gotcha. Is
Well,
what I'm
considering
saying.
the fact that they've released like 120. I think there's actually not that many in concept right now. I think concepts, and they've released I think over like 100, like 75 or something were concept ships at one point. They have a 100% release rate. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm not skeptical about it.
All right. Well, thank you, Dark, for your shout out and call out. And with that, we are finally done with the podcast. Thank you to all of the viewers and listeners out there. We are going to do again one more episode covering the fall 2021 season next in 2 weeks on the 11th, and then do sort of back to back. We're going to do podcast on the 11th. That'll be, again, the last fall season review. We're going to do a preview show on the 18th of December. So everybody can kind of get their time off for the Christmas weekend as well as the New Year weekend. And then we're going to round it off again on the 8th of January with the end of the year awards show. So look forward to that. And if you do like what we do, we such as yeah, you just gotta we got Hive, you got a High Guardian Spice. Just review it again. Yeah. We're just gonna dissect like every bit of High Guardian Spice and just shit on it. But anyways,
every single episode.
if you do yeah. Anyways, if you guys do like what we do, we stream our live recording of the podcast every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with the numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese anime-related media, animation media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So you can check us out here. You can check out our recordings of the podcast done live on our VOD section of Twitch as well as on YouTube. So whichever format you desire. Check us up on our we have updates and information on our social media platforms on Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, as well as on Twitter, handle at 4PlayerAnimecast. So check us out here, check us out there. And as always, we'll see you next time.